Is Yahweh increasing existence and the usurper? Sorry about that. Is Yahweh the usurper, or is it Sathan, the opponent? Would a person prefer to exist or end life for Sathan? Are people more spiritual or anti-metaphysical for Sathan? Does a person become a political animal or an isolationist for Sathan? Is a person positive or negative for Sathan? Is a person rational or emotional for Sathan? If they do any of these, are they of the Sathanim accusers? And I don't know what the next one's called, but I guess I'll share some comments that have to do with the message and meaning of the Grimorium Verum, edited by and translated by Joseph H. Peterson. This handbook of Black Magic by Joseph H. Peterson is the best on Grimorium Verum that I've heard of. Now, there's a presage to that he does a book on. I'll have to get that book. I will try to capture the spirit of the message and a working outline of the theory and practice therein. The drawing of the man with 19 skulls and a long bone in a magical circle with 3 rings around it, a triangle on the ground, and opposite a sword in the ground, and trying to direct a macabre spirit by performing a ritual out of a book seems to be a fair icon to start with. This was the 8th and final book I will be sharing about from that month of reading on the dark occult. And my rewrite of the preface. Why must the Grimorium Verum have such a dark and foreboding reputation and still be within the Judeo-Christian? From the Testament of Solomon to the Clavicula, there were prior books of Solomonic magic of both a Jewish and Christian sort, just as some of the canonical Gospels make clear that they were first written half to a full century after anyone they called Jesus Christ, by different people than those who met him. It seems that the attribution of, from Solomon, of some text makes clear he was a rabbi, or a Christian variation of the Kohen, access controller, type of priest, instead of king and prophet Solomon from, 2,500 years before that or so, maybe 2,000 years before that. These books are considered so sinister because they are part of traditions that directly compete with mainstream churches. Grimoires are manuals that explain demonology in depth, seldom seen otherwise, and how to practice a demonolatry of how to deal directly with these devils in what would be called demonolatry or seher in some Semitic languages. They can be stripped of these Jewish and Christian specific elements and changes to world spirituality. Will you work with the demoniac spirits to some end, or merely find some understanding of what goes on? Can we manipulate consciousness according to the methods alone? Does our spirit or soul ever change or maintain by its own will? Do spiritual entities other than us get attracted or repelled by our choices? Are they and even matter manipulated by spirituality? And disclaimer, works of what the orthodox religions consider as forbidden magic may be filled with the mention of what violates the laws of the land and supposed laws of God. Are these laws of mankind provincial and arbitrary? There are sometimes risks to the physical or psychological safety. Are there ways to experience magic or the supernatural without being physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually safe? There's a truth behind the text of alternative spirituality, and our collective experience and thoughts on them may just be the beginning. Outline of the method. What actions do you take towards spiritual control? Malediction. Astaroth's sign and character from the Red Dragon Grimoire is included to end Joseph H. Peterson's curse upon those who would pretend his work is their own or to unlawfully pirate his work here in Grimorium Verum, edited and translated by Joseph H. Peterson. Grant appellations on the... okay. Index of Angels and Demons. If I was going to write my own full text of the Grimorium Verum, I would likely give it an index of the names of spiritual beings, materials, and types of rituals. However, I'm merely commenting on Grimorium Verum, edited and translated by Joseph H. Peterson, and I'm not doing a full presentation. Why should I list fine details that are outside the scope of my outline of this 239-page book? I will leave you to wonder as why there are no angels or demons whose names start with the letters J, Q. If you remember, and you may remember that Queen is a prefix for the title of Sampilia, W, and X. Why is there no entity listed whose name ends with F, G, J, K, Q, U, V, W, X, and Z? His subject index has nothing starting with X or Y. But which letters occur or don't occur in what frequency is of little concern to almost everyone. Is there a mention that Joseph H. Peterson or I should have made regarding the material at hand? Is there any primary or secondary sources, related material, or experiential work that he or I should have mentioned in regard to the Grimorium Verum, or the true grammar book of ritual? Perhaps, when this is finished, the people who read or see what I have to say will be, But anyways, I'll figure out what the next video is and possibly return shortly after some afternoon